Hey, everybody. So glad that you could join us for this weekly team training. I wanted to say that the information tonight is vital to the success of the growth of your businesses, because one of the things that you're going to learn as you grow your business is people are going to have different needs. And so it's important that you be kept up to date on everything new that comes out from a science perspective and a business perspective, and you want to be in front of it all. So the purpose of our training tonight is to educate you a little further on the science behind one of the core products that's going to be very prominent in a business strategy for many of the people that we're going to be working with. You're going to have many clients that are going to say, I don't need coaching, just I want to lose weight or I want to feel great. What do I do? What do I use? You need to be prepared for those types of clients, those kinds of conversations with friends and family. Not everybody wants to be educated. As much as I understand that all of you have that coach inside of you and that I want to help people inside of you, sometimes you can't want it for somebody more than they want it for themselves. They just want to take the easy way, the direction to get there. They don't want all the conversation, and you have to be respectful of that. And that's why we have options available to expand our business and expand our product offering to people. And so because a concept called Feel Great is a very prominent conversation within our company, it's important that many of you who are unfamiliar with one of the products that are part of that package, which is Unimate, we have to teach you the science behind it. You've all learned so much about balance. You understand the prominence that that product is and plays within our company globally. But tonight you're going to learn something that you haven't learned, and it's important. So when Feel Great is being offered and people that are perfect candidates for this, you understand. So who better than Barbara Schumann to explain the science behind anything? The science behind almost every medical nutrition product made by this company. She knows upside down, inside out. After over 2 decades working with the products of our company, she is so qualified with her credentials to teach you. So I'm going to turn this over to Barbara and have her educate you further on Unimate and the science behind it.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen and then I will get started. Okay. So you have probably seen when you've gone to order products, this banner, Feel Great Now. I love this banner. I like it because the girl's hair is as curly as mine. And I just relate to her, looking cozy, drinking something warm. And the banner itself gives a feeling of just feeling great. It's warm and it's inviting and it's familiar. Unicity Balance, as Jan said, we know the value of unicity balance. I built a business on that single product. But the 2 products next to it, Unimate, we're just not quite as familiar with. And so I'm going to focus on where Unimate comes from and why it's so important. So for those of you who might not know, for centuries, the cowboys in Argentina drank yerba mate. They still drink it, and they drink it in this gourd. It's a leaf that is ground up. It's kind of like, well, oregano, let's say, the way it looks like it's ground up. And they use a metal spoon and they mix it with water and they put that spoon between their teeth, that straw, and they sip it. And they need it because they are out all day wrestling cattle and horses, and they need this for energy and for focus and endurance. And it has been recently becoming popular across the country and around the world. People are starting to recognize the name because there's a lot of new science behind Unimate. Now, unicity science has taken this to a new level. They've taken the ancient wisdom that came from this product and combined it with modern science. You know, you can go and buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You can buy a cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. You can buy Folgers. They're all going to be a little bit different. They're going to have different strength. They're going to be different sources. But what unicity science did is they identified a technology that was unique, something that nobody else had in the world, a technology to purify this product, to process it and purify it like nobody else. And because of it, they began to recognize there was value, so they decided to do some serious research. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of the Oxford Happiness Study. This is a research program that was developed at Oxford, in the early 2000s by two psychologists. And they wanted to be able to measure people's level of happiness. How do you measure how happy somebody is? It's really quite fascinating. It is a scored questionnaire, and I actually printed it out. I was looking at the questions, and it's like the concept behind this is that you answer questions and you give a rating between 1 and 6, and then you add up your numbers at the end of the questionnaire. You can find this online to see how happy you are. Well, Unicity did a special study looking at how Unimate, when it is processed in the way that they have patented, when you consume it, how it improves your happiness. And it is a standardized test for that. It improves your mood. It improves your cognitive balance. I mean, who doesn't want to be happier, right? Especially today. It gets your head right. It puts your head in the right mood. And with the pandemic the way it is, who doesn't need this? We all do. Now, I'll be honest with you, when this study came out a couple of years ago, the product, the box in the middle, Unimate Citrus Mint, was released. And I listened to the science at a conference. I was so impressed with the science. I couldn't wait to try it, and I'm going to share the science with you. But I have to tell you, when I tasted it, I was not excited about this product because it didn't appeal to my taste buds. But the scientist who was presenting it explained that sometimes when something has a bitter flavor, you recognize that it has value to it, because bitter flavored foods are good for you. So I've been drinking Unimate from time to time, but not regularly. And I'm sure a number of you have consumed Unimate Citrus Mint. But in just the last few weeks, Unimate Lemon and Unimate Lemon Ginger have been released. And let me tell you, there will be no question about this. This is going to be one of your favorite formulas. And I'm going to share with you why. This Oxford Happiness Study showed in 30 days, it increased the happiness score by 20%. This is not somebody just saying, I feel better. This is a standardized scientific study that was done. I think that's impressive. You know, the brain is the command center of the whole body. It powers our mood, the way we perceive things, whether we want to get out of bed in the morning, whether we're kind to people because we feel happy in our lives. Unimate comes from the yerba mate plant that is delivering polyphenols to help the brain increase its mental endurance and strength. And it does something to regulate our genes to improve just the way we perceive the world. So I don't know if you're like me, but I get up in the morning and I look forward to a cup of coffee. And there are people who say they can't start their day without coffee. One of the reasons people feel that way is that coffee has in it polyphenols, meaning material from plants that come from something called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid has been proven through dozens and dozens and dozens of studies to improve alertness. How do you feel when you drink coffee? You feel more alert, you feel awake, you feel stimulated, you want to get going, you have energy. Now, Unimate also has these same polyphenols called chlorogenic acid, and it also does that. But I want to talk about how it is different than coffee. If you look at this research that has been done, the way Unimate works, the special processing and special way that the leaves of the yerba mate plant are treated empowers the chlorogenic acid to be 375 times more powerful than the yerba mate that the cowboys are drinking in Argentina. Wow, those cowboys have depended on this to be successful. Can you imagine that we have a product that's 375 times more powerful than what they've been using for generations? It's also 60 times more powerful than the chlorogenic acid in a cup of coffee. Whoa. Now, if you are not a coffee drinker and you're a green tea drinker, you'll know that the chlorogenic acid in this Unimate is 100 times more powerful than what you find in green tea. And this is interesting. All those women who say, got my period, I've got to have chocolate. Chocolate makes us feel better, doesn't it? It makes us happier. It gives us a lift. It lifts our mood. It has theobromine in it. This has 3 times as much theobromine as Unimate, as dark chocolate. So what is theobromine? It is a chemical that resembles caffeine. It has similar effects, but it doesn't give you jitters. It stimulates the heart. It widens the blood vessels. It's really a mild antidepressant. It lifts your spirit. It improves focus, mental performance, motivation, and wakes you up. You're not fatigued. You know how you feel better after you have chocolate. Now, another part of the yerba mate plant is that it has something called triterpenoid saponins. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've read it. I don't remember hearing how it's said. But when I did the research on what the heck this ingredient is, this supports gene expression of anti-obesity related genes. What is gene expression? We all have genes in our body, genes that you can turn on or turn off. And if you turn on a gene for cancer, you are going to you have a greater risk to get cancer. If you turn on a gene for obesity, you're going to be more likely to become obese. But what if this turned on the gene to stop obesity, to fight obesity? We have those genes. This activates our fat burning hormones. It's been called liquid willpower. When people drink Unimate, their blood sugar levels even out. And you know from drinking Balance, when you drink Balance, you stop having cravings, right? Because your blood sugar is not going up and down. This works in a similar fashion. In a different way, though. It's not from the fiber that, like in Balance, it's actually from this saponins that actually cause your blood sugar levels to even out. So those people who want to do intermittent fasting, and you know, so many people say, I'm doing the 4-4-12, but I'm doing it 6-6-16. How do you go 16 hours between dinner and breakfast? Many people are choosing to drink Unimate to help them go longer between dinner and breakfast. And why would they want to do that? Because when you get all the insulin out of your body because you have not eaten, something happens to your hormones. Your hormones have different cell receptors. Insulin is a cell receptor, but human growth hormone is another cell receptor. Now, you've probably heard of HGH, that, you know, there was a period in baseball when baseball players were taking HGH to pump themselves up to get really muscular. Do you remember that, all those scandals? Well, many athletes and bodybuilders inject themselves with HGH to get big and get muscular and to burn fat. Well, when you sleep, your body has the opportunity to turn on your growth hormone levels, expressing those genes. And when you go longer than 12 hours, when you go 13, 14, 15, 16 hours, your human growth hormone levels naturally increase. You're not injecting it. It's not coming from the Unimate you're drinking, but it's coming from your own body. Your body can activate its own human growth hormone, which slows down the aging process. I'm all in favor of that, and helps you burn fat and allows you to feel really good. So people are often substituting breakfast with Unimate so that they can really get into that fat burning zone for the next 4 hours and activate those human growth hormone levels on their own. Now, you heard mentioned before chlorogenic acid, that this Unimate contains 375 times the power of the mate powder. The National Institute of Health in Washington did studies on chlorogenic acid from mate, and they found that it works similar to metformin. For those of you who deal with people with diabetes, metformin is the most common drug for blood sugar control. This chlorogenic acid has been shown to improve insulin resistance and glucose tolerance. It lowers that spike after your meal, the postprandial peak response. So after you eat, you know how your blood sugar shoots up after you eat? This tamps it down. So does Balance. Balance does all these things. This lowers LDL cholesterol, so does Balance. It inhibits the oxidation of LDL, which protects our cardiovascular health. Can you see the parallels, how this is so similar to Balance, even though the mechanism of action is totally different? This is something unique that Balance doesn't really do. This helps to reduce stress on your muscles. It improves better recovery after you exercise. So that means you can get to the next workout sooner. You know, sometimes we know that you need to wait 2 days to work out the same muscles, but sometimes you go to work out those muscles and you're still not recovered. One of the reasons I think this works is when you're producing your own human growth hormone, you are recuperating your muscles, because human growth hormone helps to build and develop muscles. So overall, your physical performance in the gym can improve. Now, there was a study that Unicity did in Zurich. And I want to give you just a brief overview of it, and then I'm going to go through the details. It was done on the citrus mint. It was a 30-day trial. They took people age 46 years old, men and women, average height, 5'6", average weight 166 pounds, and in 30 days, without doing anything differently, just drinking this, they lost over 5 pounds, lost more than an inch and a half around their waist and an inch around their hips, and everybody saw improved mood and energy and focus and athletic performance. So here are some of the raw data from this. And this is interesting. If you have diabetic clients and you've got them on balance, this is something that you're going to want to recommend to them. Look at this. In 30 days, it lowered hemoglobin A1C by 3%. We know balance lowers hemoglobin A1C by 15% in 90 days, but this can also contribute to it. It lowered blood sugar levels by 4.5%. These are some of those same measurements that I was talking about, but they're in centimeters. So that's why I made that slide, because I can't relate to centimeters. So for those of you who want to see centimeters, you can see the reduction here, but you can see the percentage, 10% reduction in the waist. That's impressive. There's serious fat burning going on when you're drinking this. This is the thing that really grabbed my attention, because so many people who like coffee say, I can't drink it because it elevates my blood pressure. My doctor told me not to drink coffee. This Unimate formula lowers blood pressure. Look at it. That's pretty impressive. And it improves the resting heart rate by lowering it. So for people who have to avoid caffeine because of blood pressure issues, they should be able to drink Unimate. Now, we talked about what it does that mirrors balance. I mean, look at the triglycerides, 11% down, cholesterol, 14% down. No, I'm sorry. Whoopsie, let me go backwards. Total cholesterol was 12.7% down. The cholesterol HDL level, that's the ratio. You know, some people will have very high HDL, but they also have high cholesterol. And so they have a good ratio. But HDL is really important. And the only thing I've ever seen to raise HDL is balance. But this also raises HDL at least a little over 1%. So there's value to this product for people who are helping their clients improve their body chemistry. Now, for those of you who've ever done the keto diet, you know this word ketone. Ketone is what the body is producing when you've removed the carbohydrate, the glucose from the bloodstream, and you are eating this incredibly low carb diet, and you are able to burn fat. Now, what Unimate did after 30 minutes was elevate the ketone level very impressively so that people could burn more fat. What are people looking for when they're coming to Get Fit 21? What if people are looking for when they're not coming to Get Fit 21, when they're just whining about what's happened to them in this last year with the pandemic? They want to burn fat. They want to get their old body back. They want to get back into shape. We can help them do it with Unimate. Now, this is the clinical trial data, their before and after. I just wanted to show you that they have the details for you to reference. What I liked about this product when I first used it, even though I did not love the citrus mint, is when I wanted to go for a run and I didn't feel like running, I ran anyway because it made me feel like running, and I ran farther and I felt better. I seemed to have more endurance. Something that it does to your brain is, I think, what's improving the endurance. I don't really know why it works on endurance, other than it's impacting your focus. I don't I can't claim to understand why I had more endurance when I used it. But they did a study. It was an initial study. I don't know if there's follow-up details. This I just grabbed from a study that was done in 2018. And it was just 22 participants, but the performance, the aerobic performance improved on average by more than 5%, almost 5.5%. And the resistance, the ability to lift more weight, to time under tension, more weight for longer, was 13, almost 14% better. So we have introduced over the last year or so a Unimate formula that has been combined with MCT oil. And I know that I would say most everybody on this webinar tonight has had this, because I've talked about it, I've introduced it to people, I've recommended it as a strategy for keeping them satisfied in the morning when they wake up if they want to skip breakfast and do that 16-hour fast. Why is it so effective? Well, number one, it has MCT oil. When you drink it, and I like to drink it in a hot Yeti mug, when you drink it, the MCT oil tamps down your hunger. The fat satisfies you. It stops those cravings. When you wake up and you want to eat something, it will calm your appetite immediately. It will promote your stimulating of your metabolism. This is what Unimate does, whether it's in the form of Unimate fuel or whether it's in the form of citrus mint or lemon ginger or lemon. All of these products stimulate the metabolism. And, you know, in Get Fit 21, we tell people they need to have a shake first thing in the morning, because we know that protein stimulates the metabolism. That protein will automatically stimulate the metabolism by 30%. That's what protein does. It's called the thermic effect of food, the stimulating of eating if you eat protein. But if you eat carbs or you eat fat, it doesn't really stimulate the metabolism. So that's why we've encouraged people in Get Fit 21 to start with a shake. But there are people who say, I don't like to eat breakfast. I want to skip a meal. And up until this product was introduced to me, I would say, no, you have to have your shake in the morning to stimulate your metabolism. But now I say, if you want to skip your morning shake, you can drink Unimate, whether it's Unimate Fuel, this delicious salted caramel flavor. Some people think it tastes like a latte, a caramel macchiato. I think it's warming and delicious. But now we have other choices. Now, which one are you going to fall in love with? The Unimate ginger, the Unimate lemon, the Unimate citrus mint. They all are going to do what you're looking to do. Make you focused, give you liquid willpower, give you energy, stimulate your metabolism, make you happy and refreshed. And I personally love the lemon ginger. I'm drinking it since I got it twice a day. It has such a therapeutic dose of ginger in it that I believe it's anti-inflammatory. Let me just add that Unimate, when it has been evaluated, everything's stronger than the regular yerba mate plant. And the yerba mate plant has been shown to be antibacterial, anti-carcinogenic, immune boosting, antiviral. I'm making no claims that this is going to cure COVID, but what if you could boost your immune system? What if you could feel like you're giving your body a better chance of going out into the world to be sharper, smarter, get the brain fog out, and boost your immune system and burn fat. This is why I'm excited about Unimate, and I encourage everybody to try it soon. So I'm going to wrap this up, and if people have questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Barbara, before
Yes,
I answer questions, I know people are going to have many questions. The first thing I want to do is I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that in-depth overview. The details and the research that you've done to explain that completely went over my head, which means I'm going
really?
to have to
All
watch
right.
this 2 and 3 times. However, I just can't tell you how fantastic that was. So we're going to take a period to answer questions. And I just wanted to make sure that before we got lost in that, that I really thank you so much for all you do for everybody that is obsessed with learning, because there's no better teacher than you.
Thank you. I hope it was helpful.
It definitely was.